Another brute has been convicted of attacking a woman, not just any old woman, but a female Garda nonetheless. And where did he attack her? In a Garda station. Completely brazen, complete disregard for the position that she was in, the role that she was doing, the place she was doing it in, and for law and order in general. Here we have this savage, Lithuanian savage called Fabijanas Minkevicius. I think that's his name anyway. Lovely looking piece of work, isn't he? As he comes scowling out of Monaghan Courthouse. I really don't know what it takes to get someone kicked out of this country or to get kicked out of Ireland or the UK for that matter, anywhere. People moving around, coming over here, doing nothing, contributing nothing, leeching, taking, attacking, wounding, and still they stay. Still they stay. This one takes the biscuit. Lithuanian man threw a phone at a female Garda's face, leaving her with a busted lip. Took a heavy object, took a blunt object, and wung it, I'm sure, pretty hard, or flung it pretty hard at this woman's head, and managed to connect right on the mouth. Right on the mouth. He was a good shot. Maybe it wasn't the first time he'd done it. And to be honest, there's a saying, when you see someone acting up in public, the way they treat other people in public, you have to ask yourself, what way would they get on behind closed doors? See someone being nasty and abusive to a child, you think, well, if that's the way they treat the child in public, what way would they treat the child behind closed doors? If that's the way someone treats their husband or wife in public, what way would they treat them behind closed doors? Well, the question must also be asked, if this is the way this brute acted in a Garda station to a female Garda, what way would he treat women in general, period? Whether it be drunk or whether he be sober. Sometimes you say you can't judge a book by its cover, but in this guy's case, look at the bake on him, like a bulldog chewing a wasp. The female Garda was left with a busted lip and forced to take a number of days off work after she had a mobile phone thrown into her face by a man inside a Garda station, a court has been told. Like I said, folks, if he acts this way inside a Garda station, what way is he going to act on the streets? Where's he going to act on the streets? If he treats a female Garda like that in a Garda station, what way is he going to treat women on the streets or in his own home? He can find a woman to stay with him, which unfortunately these people usually do manage to charm them to begin with, and then they show their true colours. Garda Niamh McColgan was left with swelling as a result of the attack, which was meted out. I think that's a good expression, meted out, by Fabijanas Minkevicius. It's a good Monaghan name, that. Age 35 at Castleblayney Garda Station on the 16th of June this year. And it's around about that time, on the 16th of June this year, that there was a lot of protests going on down around the Monaghan area, in Castleblayney and in Carrickmacross, where people were protesting against mass immigration into the areas and people feeling unsafe on the streets or even in their own homes. And as them protests were going on, these cases kept happening. Lithuanian national Minkevicius of Lower Main Street, Ballybay, Monaghan, pleaded guilty to assault causing harm and impeding Garda McColgan in the course of her duty at a sitting at Monaghan District Court before Judge Raymond Finnegan, having taken up High Court bail last week. When people commit crimes like this, I'm not a lawyer. Maybe it's just as well I'm not, because everybody would be getting banged up or worse and deported at the very least. Sergeant Damien Galligan said directions from the DPP consented for summary disposal, allowing the case to be heard by the district court. The court was told while there was no state objections to bail, defense counsel Dmitry Grinberg confirmed guilty pleas were being tendered by his client to both charges. Well, kind of hard to plead not guilty when you're caught in the act in a Garda station attacking and assaulting a Garda. I'm sure it was caught on camera. I'm sure there were several witnesses there. She had to get time off work with a busted lip. Be hard not to plead not guilty to that one, but hey, that's his right and his privilege, isn't it? There he is again. Judge Finnegan initially signalled for a 2-week adjournment to allow for a victim impact statement from Garda McColgan and allow Minkevicius to do some gathering for the purposes of compensation, get some money gathered up to compensate this female Garda. Well, you know, as you'll see, he's out of work at the minute. So where's he going to get the money from? Where's he getting the money from? When asked by Mr. Grinberg as to what monetary requirements were being asked of his client, Judge Finnegan quizzed Sergeant Gallagher as to what was involved in the incident. So let's talk about it. Let's see how severe it is, and we'll work it out from there. A mobile phone was thrown at her face, said the state's court presenter. In response, details which Garda McColgan herself backed up from the body of the court. I got a busted lip, she said. Swelling brought about by the assault caused her to take 3 days off work. Having heard about Garda McColgan's ordeal, Judge Finnegan told Minkevicius he would want to come up with €3,000 compensation. €3,000. 1,000 for each day off work, you might say, let alone the suffering and maybe disfiguration. I don't know. Is she going to be left with a scar to lose a tooth? I don't know. Grinberg, in response, asked for longer, saying his client was currently out of work. Out of work? So he's going around assaulting people. He's out of work. How's he being supported? Who's paying for him? Who's paying for his way? Who's going to stump up for his compensation? Judge Finnegan, granting the request, warned Minkevicius of where the court stood in terms of meeting the demands. He's going to have to get a job because I want that money paid before Christmas, said the judge. Oh, the judge is getting feisty. Get it paid by Christmas. Let's say he doesn't get a job and he pays it by Christmas. What's he got, rich friends? Or maybe he'll resort to other methods to gather up the money. That's not out of the question either. Minkevicius was consequently remanded on bail, the sitting of Monaghan District Court on December the 15th. So he's free. He's out and about again. Out and about is our Fabijanas. So there you have him. Fabijanas, Monaghan. Keep an eye out, folks, for Fabijanas walking the streets, especially coming up to Christmas. Because if he doesn't get himself a job and he doesn't rustle up $3,000, well then who knows? He could be eyeing you up. Maybe as a benefit, as someone who could donate to his cause, if you know what I mean. So anyway, that's what's out there, walking the streets. And like I said, and I can't underscore it enough, my opinion is if somebody gets on like that in public, in a Garda station to a Garda, what are they going to do to someone who's not in the Guards? What are they going to do behind closed doors? Anyway, just bringing this one to your attention. Leave me your thoughts and comments below. Share this video, cut and paste the link, drop it into your group, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media, over and out.